Okay, so we are recording. We are, what is today's date? The 8th? No, 9th. So we're 9 days into our 90-day run, our official 90-day run, and so many great things have been going on. I don't know about you guys, but this has definitely amped my personal intention, my personal activity levels have risen drastically, and it's definitely helping me with consistency and really like upping my personal game. So that's my goal for all of you. But the two things, and I muted everybody just for the cause of the recording, but I feel like this might be more interactive than being able to be paused or be muted, right? Because so I really want to, I was going to pick one of the other topics that I had written out, but after the chat, in the chat over the course of the past couple of days, there are a couple different things that I think are really important to talk about. And one of those being like drilling down how to create your personal branding stories and posts. And then also talking about personal power hours. So I'm going to start talking about the power hours because I know that that is something that has made a huge difference for me. And I know obviously we, like the Shop Mob has the noon and 9 power hours, and they're broken into 20-minute increments, and they're a certain way. And actually team leaders and above are probably going to be asked if you want to have more activity in the, and Leslie's taken some of my Sunday nights, like graciously reached out and said, hey, do you want me to take that? And I love that. And I was actually the one that said, this is a great way for team leaders and above to start like being the light shining on them to run some power hours and start doing some things. So there's going to be some things coming like that. But different from the Shop Mob power hours are the power hours that I have been doing. When we first started talking about this being an idea, Kagan and I drilled down a whole list of things, and then we said, all right, we're going to do this power hour at 9 o'clock every morning. 9 o'clock my time, 8 o'clock her time. We set the time that we were going to get up. We basically laid out our ideal day, and then we have still been drilling that down so that our day matches and we're able to do the things that we say we're going to do in our schedule, right? So we drilled out, I don't want to get into all of that right now, but what I do want to talk about is what that power hour looks like for Kagan and I. We literally don't talk for an hour, but we're on at the same time. And what we did is we listed out all the things we could think of that somebody could do in a possible power hour, right? And then we said, all right, we're going to start at the top and we're going to work through these. And what our goal is to find the ideal power hour, all the things you can complete in an hour. So somebody new coming in, we could say, hey, this is what you can do in an hour or less to work this business, an hour or less daily. Okay, so for those people that are struggling with time management and stuff, like how can we really make it so here's the list, right? Now this has been a dedicated, I get up and I literally, this is mine, this sits right here next to, and obviously I've made some extra notes on here. I need to type this up, laminate it, and probably post it. But I literally follow this list from top to bottom. I'm gonna read this list off for you guys and you can take notes, because my idea with this is for you guys to start working on this too. So I'm gonna give you the whole list, and then you guys can work through it. And then by the end of our 90 days, or maybe even by the end of 30, or if not 60, whatever, we can go back to the entire legacy, the entire Shop Mob, even if they're open to it, and say, hey, you guys, we really drilled down an ideal power hour. So even if you got on a Shop Mob power hour, you could have your list, and you don't even have to listen to what their 20-minute increments are. You could just work down your list, because there is some magic to being on when other people are staring, not even staring at you, but like I get way more done in that hour with Kagan, and literally just Kagan and I with our, we do not speak, and I just walk through the list. Okay, so I'm going to read this list to you, and then everybody can unmute and we can kind of talk about it. If you have something to add, I would love to know that, because I can get through most of this list myself now in an hour. The first time I did it, probably not. So, you know, if there's different things, or if we need to take away or add or whatever, we can do that. So the very first thing I do when I start my power hour is I clear my messenger. Okay, so guys, I think it's really important for you guys to not be accessible 24 hours a day to your messenger. So if somebody messages you, there is no such thing as a Modere emergency, and feeling like as soon as somebody messages you with a product question of whatever it is, that you're answering it. So when I get up in the morning, you know, we've talked time and time again about like the first 50 minutes that you're awake, not being on your phone, things like that. I think that's super important for your life balance. So I actually get up at like, with my husband, 6, lunch, and actually I haven't in the past week. He's probably listening and thinking, yeah, she's a slacker, trying to tell them she does these things for me when I haven't been. But I do, you know, do my morning things, and sometimes I get back and cuddle the dog. Sometimes I do some exercise. I do my personal development. I do all these things. I shower. And then at 9 o'clock, we jump on Power Hour, and then I start clearing my messenger. So before I do anything else for Power Hour, I make sure that every message has been opened, responded to if necessary, and that sort of thing, okay? So the very first thing and the very last thing on my Power Hour list is clear my messenger. I immediately go into doing my happy birthdays. I do a brand new happy birthday video every single day. Actually, I rewind. I take back the every single day. I do my happy birthdays about every 2 to 3 days. Okay. Now you're probably like, why? I'll tell you why. Because I will do like a happy birthday video and a belated birthday video. And I'm going to tell you, I get a lot more response on belated birthdays. If you want to do them every single day, just do a belated one and do yesterday's birthday. So maybe skip tomorrow. Don't do any birthdays tomorrow. And then the next day, do a belated. Because on people's birthdays, they're inundated with messages. And when you do a belated one, they're getting far less messages. And so they're going to be like, oh my gosh. And I use one of the Snapchat filters with the big eyes that look super duper sad. And I'll be like, I'm so sorry I missed your birthday. Happy belated birthday. I can't believe I did that. I hope it was so incredible. With the squeaky voice and the big eyes that look like they're crying. And I send it and I get such a huge response. Okay. You can do anything you want. I'm just saying belated birthday messages typically get more response than I learned that from someone. I don't remember who. Next, at the very beginning, I send out a couple messages, whether I know that I'm going to get a response right away. If I don't, I ask 1, 2, 3, 5, whatever you're comfortable with, people if they're willing to do a referral post. Now, if yesterday I asked 1, 2, 3, 5 people to do a referral post, and 3 people messaged me back and said yes, I'm going to message one of them because I'm only going to have one person post one a day. You guys don't want 18 referral posts going at one time. Okay? So I'm going to have one referral post going up a day. I know that we're struggling with getting referral posts up. Please know that as long as you're doing the asking, that counts in my book, right? Because eventually you're going to get a yes. Okay? Don't stop at just one ask, though. Make sure you're asking a few people like, hey, you know, I know we've had a conversation about product at some point. I just thought of this. Would you be interested in putting a post on your wall with the opportunity of maybe getting some product credit if somebody's interested in your friend circle? Like, make it about them, not about putting the post on the wall for you. And tell them that there's some possible kickback. Okay? Just make sure you're doing the asking. And then what happens on that day when you ask 5 people and all 5 say yes? You're still going to ask tomorrow. Maybe. I mean, you should, because you're going to keep filling that funnel, but you have 5 days worth of referral posts to put up. So exciting. So then I start asking with referral posts at the beginning because my goal is to have a referral post up by the end of my Power Hour, right? Okay, then I go in and I comment on 20 non-Modere people's stuff. You guys can do that before if you want, but that's the time that I do it. This is the order I do it. Then I post in all of the groups that I want to post in. Okay, you guys have probably seen my activity level go up in multiple posts or multiple places. It's because I chose that I want to make sure that I'm bringing value in a few different places. Now, places like Elite Accountability and the Shop Mob Dynasty, like I don't post there every single day because those aren't groups that I'm solely running, but I do post in there a few times a week. And then obviously our team page, I didn't post in there today because Leslie posted a bomb post and I was like, I'm not even walking on top of that post. Like I came behind you and I came to that part of my Power Hour and I was like, scratch it, I'm leaving that one. But I like to make sure that activity. This is also the time that I post in my team chat, which most everybody's gotten rid of their extra team chats outside of Onward. I think there's a couple of you that still have outside team chats, but most everybody else combined yesterday when we started the new team chat. We can talk about that in a second. But I like activity in there. So that's where I post in all my groups or chats that I want to at that point. Next is Instagram. Okay. I know we're on a learning curve with Instagram, right? Gary, I saw your face. So For some of you, Instagram might not be in your power hour yet. Okay, that's okay. For me, I'm not huge on posting on Instagram, but I love that I can post on the Instagram story and have it go to Facebook at the exact same time. So I'm posting one time to stories and it's in 2 places. So I potentially am hitting 2 audiences. I do love that. I am trying to do a post couple of times a week on Instagram, and that's what I mean by Instagram. I have one thing that I do, and right before Instagram, actually, it doesn't matter where you guys write it on the list, but actually we'll put it right after Instagram on my list too. Okay, so interacting on stories. Okay, I want you guys, if you're doing Instagram, you're gonna wanna do this in Instagram and Facebook. If you're not doing Instagram, then you definitely wanna make sure you're doing it on Facebook. Watch the Facebook stories across the top of your page. Interact on 5 of them, at least. I mean, today I interacted on like random things. Like somebody asked if people on their page are moms. Like there's simple things. They don't have to be business related. You're not starting a conversation necessarily, but if you're interacting with their story, it goes to their messenger. So guess what happens then? They reply back and now you have a conversation going in Messenger. How simple is that? So interact on them, 5 to 10. The more that I do, and actually I try to go back to that later in the day. Like if I have 5 minutes, if I take my phone to the bathroom, not gonna lie, I'll look at stories and interact on stories. Okay, I know I'm not the only one that takes their phone to the bathroom. Okay, I have branding groups on here. Interacting, providing value in branding groups, 2 to 3 groups. This is something that we all need to work on, myself included. And we'll come back to that, but that's what's there. Okay, adding new friends, deleting inactive. I don't think I really need to talk about that one, right? Like you know, we kind of all know where to find our good people. You know, birthdays, memories, all the places to delete inactive. I mean, you can go through your whole list if you want to. That's really overwhelming to me. So those are the things I use to delete active. I don't have a number either. I go through my memories, the people that I became friends with on this day, and my birthdays, and that's where I delete people from. Today, actually, when you're doing birthdays, it's really good. I deleted 3 people today that I went to send them a birthday message, and they never actually responded to my birthday message from last year. So I was like, bye. I don't know why I didn't delete you till now, but that was easy. Okay. I also do a quick check on my daily schedule. I actually have been scheduling out my day at night before I go to bed. So I just review my daily schedule. If anything's changed, I put that into my power hour, because then I can say, oh, guess what? I forgot about this appointment. Oh, guess what? I actually already got that done. So I do a quick review of my daily schedule. Then I go back and I respond to any comments. So I'm actually going to go back to my profile, scroll back through any of the places that maybe I did a live video and I have some last comments I need to catch up on. I go to my posts. Anybody that's commented that I haven't responded to their comment, I want to make sure that everybody gets a response, right? I know that we're supposed to go back and comment like immediately after posting, but that's not my strong suit. And I actually feel like for me, it's better if I wait an hour or even the next morning to but to continue replying. I'll only reply to a first view of my live video, and then an hour later or however longer, I'll reply to the next ones. And every single time you do commenting, it bumps it again. So I don't ever reply to every comment at one time. I keep a string of it and keep bumping it up. So I have responding to comments. So every day during my power hour, I get caught up in anything that hasn't been done from the day before. Creating story content. I put that in there because, well, you all know that I love to work on story content. This is also the same time that I actually make sure that I have started my posting for the day in both Instagram and Facebook stories. Actually, it's a 2 birds, 1 stone thing, right? So I start my posting there. I do this during my power hour. And guys, at this point, actually, sometimes when I do my posting and my stories during the section where I post in all my groups, because I kind of do all my posts at one time, my first post of the day at one time. And that includes stories for me. So when I'm creating story content, if I haven't put anything in story, that's when I do. Conversation starting 10 a day. sometimes when you interact on Facebook messages, they turn into those conversations starting, but I try to get 10 new ones. And actually, Kagan said to me today, which was really interesting, we were walking through this today. She said, she personally was struggling with how to get 10 new conversations started. So you guys, there are a lot of people that struggle with this piece, right? And so we kind of talked through different ways. And for me, the best thing for me to do was to open up Facebook Messenger and see who's active and start looking at people that I haven't spoken with. Like, you go in there, that's the easiest thing to do, is to go to the number at the bottom and see how many are active and start messaging people and be like, hey, how have you been? Just, that's a conversation starter, okay? It does not have to be overthought. I almost said overthought. That's where I am today, folks. Okay, taprooting 5 per day. So if you don't have a team, you have customers, I promise. Every one of you here has team and or customers. Taprooting includes all, and taprooting can even mean potential customers, okay? So sending out love to a minimum of 5 people per day, just extra love, okay? Letting them know you think they're great. It doesn't have to be hugely thought out, but this is what's going to create the mass culture for this team, right? Our culture is really great, and I just think we can keep taking it up a notch. And then engage with my potential social marketer prospect list. Now, some of you haven't heard Bryn's talk. How perfect is this that we're talking about this right now? She's going to talk about it tomorrow night. I'm sure she'll talk about this. But if you're scrolling Facebook and you come across somebody, whether they're in another company or they just really shine bright like a star and you just really love them, but you haven't got to that point in your business yet, or maybe you haven't even started a conversation with them yet, but you're like, man, that's somebody I'd really like to work with. And when I was in my previous company, I used to always tell people when they were getting started, there's 3 types of people you look for when you're building your business on the team builder side. Those people are people that you think would be really great at this, people that really need this, and people that you want to work with, okay? This is the only industry where you get to choose who you work with, right? Like, we get to pick we don't want to talk to somebody, we don't have to talk to them. So once you spot somebody like that on your wall, you can actually create a Facebook list. And I actually have mine created in collections, and I just go to one of their posts. So say I'm scrolling and I see Allie and I'm like, man, I want to work with her. I'm going to go to Allie's page, her profile, and her very top post, whatever it is. I'm going to hit the 3 dots on the right, and I'm going to hit save this post. Okay? And it's going to ask you if you want to create a new collection. And you're going to type in a new collection name, and you're going to write future legacy leaders, social marketer prospects. I don't care what you call it, but people I want to work with. I don't care what you call it, but this is going to be your list. So every time you're scrolling Facebook and you come across somebody that you really want to work with, you're going to hit those, you're going to go to their page, you're going to pick a post, you're going to hit the 3 little dots and save the post. The post is not what's important, so don't overthink which post you're saving. You want to go so that you can have that direct, you're going to open the post and then hit their name so it takes you directly to their profile. So you can go during your power hour and comment and like and love and eventually get into that really great conversation, but you're going to get their eyes on you. Okay? So engaging with social marketer prospect list is on my point right there. Then the last thing I have on here right now is follow-up. So obviously I don't think follow-up. I have one for buy-sell trades too, and I have one for a post, Sam. So collections, what she just mentioned in the chat, she started one for buy-sell trades too. Every single time I post in a buy-sell trade, I open it back up and I save it so that I can go to my buy-sell trade collection. And so when that sale happened, I had saved all my buy-sell trade posts. I had saved all my referral posts. I created a graphic that said special pricing today only. And I went to every single one of my buy-sell trades, and I went to every one of my referral posts, and I just posted that graphic in the comments. So it bumped every one of my posts, and it also alerted anyone that had commented. Okay? So really great for follow-up purposes too, or when we have a promo or anything like that. Obviously, you're going to probably delete some of them along the way, and that's okay. But these collections really can be handy for you. Okay, so follow-up. I mean, follow-up, super simple, right? Like, we're just following up. You're going to have your lead list. I'm sure at this point, all of you have gone back through every single group you've ever ATM'd a soul into. and made those lists like we did for that 10% off day sale, slowly start going back through those follow-ups. Like right now is a perfect time, myself included. This is what I'm doing. Hey, I know we didn't connect for that sale last month. How are you? How have things been? I'm sorry you missed the sale. That's not pushy. That's not anything, but it's a great way to get your name and your face back in their minds and then be like, hey man, I'm so sorry I missed that sale, or what's going on. If they continue to ignore you, you eventually can take them off your list, right? Like you don't have to keep sending them, but this gives you an opportunity to follow up with them. Okay, so all of that, I can get through all of that now in an hour. When I started, I could not. So when you sit down to do a personal power hour, and whether that's all of us that we decide to do one, or you get on one of the Shop Mob ones and you say, I'm going to do this instead of following their 20-minute, I don't care. I do not care. I don't love the 20-minute increments anymore because I started to get too efficient for them, right? That's the whole idea. So we can now, Allie, I'll come right back to that because it is perfect. You guys can unmute too. I feel like we can talk. I just wanted to share that power hour because I feel like when you guys have those direct things that we can actually chip through them. So don't feel like if you don't get through that in your first power hour that a week down the road, baseball. Eventually you'll be getting through that. Is there anything that, okay, yeah, we can talk about Canva for sure. Canva definitely is a little bit time consuming. Today, did you guys see my stories today? Maybe not. But I will tell you, first of all, let me tell you this. Since I started being consistent with Canva, my last few stories have had over 300 views. So the views are going up drastically on stories because I've been consistent as heck. I've had 3 people from the company, from Modere, not corporate, but like 3 leaders reach out and say, okay, your stories are on point. So you guys, like, we're doing the right things, okay? So we need to get used to this. Today I used Canva. I used the Instagram story blank, and I just used my own images, and then I just added text to the bottom because I feel like when we're trying to use the templates and stuff and like make them look really super pretty, like I did for some of those that we created before, that we feel like we're overthinking it too much. So I wanted to do a simpler one so that everybody could see, like, just start. What happens is you use that template though, and it actually fits perfect instead of just looking like a square on the story, right? Like if you just create an image, it comes up as a square. Yes, Canva is an app. You can get it on the computer or on your phone. It's free. There are parts of Canva that you can pay for. I have never paid for a thing. I only use the free stuff. I use the free fonts. I use the free images. I use the free templates. There's like a little crown on the ones that cost money. I just avoid them. Obviously, they're the prettier ones, but I can make do with what they have available for free. So I definitely do Canva, and I definitely think that the story on the computer, Allie, Kagan uses, actually let me ask Kagan, because I don't use the computer one, but Kagan uses it like super fluently and like will share a screen with me when we create things for our teams and stuff like that. So I'll ask her. I don't think she pays for it either though. So I'll get that information for you. Okay, I'm gonna come back here. So when we were talking about follow-up, Allie said, what about the upcoming sale though? Connect now or wait until closer to the sale? I would say closer to the sale. I would even wait until like the day before, like creating that sense of urgency. We don't want to shoot ourselves in the foot with sales between now and, because that's a whole week from today. Sale doesn't launch until next Tuesday, right? 16th. So we have a whole week of sales that we can take advantage of before that. So I would definitely not say that. But if you did a follow-up with people now, it obviously opens the door for you to follow up again in 1 week, which is pretty freaking awesome. For the daily habits, I've been marking red if someone didn't post or don't post, even if they said they would. Is it green if I asked? I'm good with either way. So habit share, like really, it's for yourself. I mean, I love that I can see it and be like, you guys are killing it. I would say yes, green if you asked. Like if you're doing the work, guys, then it counts, right? The problem is we can't control what happens on the other end. We can only do our part. And if you're putting the work in, then to me, that's definitely a great check. Definitely a green check. So Kagan and I had another conversation about this 90-day run, and I was like, I am more yellow than I ever thought in my whole dang life. I mean, obviously, I've always been a crier, so I did know a little bit that I was yellow, but like, she's harsh as heck, guys, and I'm just having a really good time with this and enjoying the fact that everybody is pushing the envelope a little bit more than they did before, and that we're really stepping it up and being involved. So I just want to tell you that I love you all, and thank you for that. It's not important, but I needed to say that. Okay. So, does anybody have anything they want to add, take away, or make changes to on that power hour? Because I would really like to drill it down and be able to lay out a template for at least Elite Legacy. And we have time.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Okay. So I guess my problem right now is that I'm setting all these goals for myself, which is great, but I feel like I'm constantly on my phone. And not that I don't like love trying to track all the people down and give all the people information, but I like Ariel will go outside and play, and I'm like, well, I have to answer these like 20 messages. You know what I mean? So I guess I'm trying to find a balance, and it's really, really hard for me to do that.
It is hard. I will definitely tell you that it is hard, but that's why I'm telling you that you have to, when you lay out your daily schedule, that's why I lay out my daily schedule. And I don't have a lot of the things that a lot of people do have anymore. But you don't be, those 20 messages, they can turn into 40 messages if you have an hour scheduled from when Ariel goes to bed at 8 o'clock, or I'm just saying hypothetically, from 8 to 9, you're going to answer messages. Don't open those messages until 8 o'clock. I know you want to.
Like, I feel like I'm going to lose them.
You're not. That sale, like, if they're excited about losing weight, they're still going to be excited about losing weight at 8 o'clock. If they lost interest, can you imagine what kind of customer they would have been?
Right. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
So I really feel like you have to manage that. And as a leader, like, that's a huge thing. I have struggled with that severely. Like, I am going to tell you that every single one of you have probably at one time messaged me, and I usually answer within 30 seconds. That's not how it should be.
Okay.
If I message Amber, sometimes I don't hear from her for 8 hours. Just saying.
Okay.
There's a lot. I mean, not that I'll ever put you guys off for 8 hours unless you guys have a heads up that I'm going away for 8 hours. But I'm saying you should have scheduled time where you're going to be getting into Messenger and answering those. That's why I clear my Messenger at the beginning of my power hour. I clear it at the end. And then I go actually, you guys, I have scheduled into my daily time or my daily schedule what time I'm going to do. Actually, Kagan, I have drilled down. I have a specific room of the house that I clean on specific days. And I have an hour of time for cleaning into my daily schedule, because otherwise I will stay glued to my phone from the time that everybody leaves this house to the time they get home. I cook dinner and I get back on my phone like I am right now. So literally I will just do that. Well, that's not feasible for everybody. And if what I'm doing is not duplicatable, then I'm not being a good leader.
Right. Okay.
I think too, Nikki, what I found is when I started doing the power hour, I actually got more done in 1 hour than I would get in 3 hours of like hanging onto my phone constantly, because you're so focused. You can just knock so much out, and then you don't feel like you're constantly feeling guilty and pulling your attention away from your family, and you'll get so much done. It's amazing. You won't need to be on your phone all those little increments if you do that power hour.
Okay. Thank you, guys.
Yeah. I mean, this is gonna be a learning curve for everybody, right? Like, you're gonna be drawn to the phone. The biggest problem is your self-control. You know what I mean? Like, when that light goes off or you see a new messenger on your phone, like, every one of us wants to know what's on the other end. Human nature. So just doing that. I want to go back here to a couple things though. Sam said, so I definitely don't agree with ignoring all day, Allie. So I didn't mean to like paint that picture. Like, I would never ignore someone all day either. But if somebody messages you at 10 in the morning and you answer them by 1 in the afternoon, like, that's reasonable, right? If your time is 1, if somebody messages you at noon and you message them at 4 o'clock, so between 4 and 5 before I start cooking dinner at 5:30, I'm going to do an hour of, and I don't even need to do a full hour, you guys, because I'm going to be real. Like if I had enough messages to fill a whole hour a couple times a day, like hallelujah, right? Like we don't have that. We don't have that. So take 15 minutes before you start to cook dinner, and then put it down for all of dinner and for half hour after dinner, and then pick it up for 15 minutes. So put those little blocks in there so that you're doing that. Yes, I definitely agree. Like leaving someone for 8 hours is not good customer service. You're right. When I get into Messenger, I'm stuck talking, and that's how I stay in the friend zone. You got to be busier. You have to, this is a Ray Higdon thing. You got to be busy, okay? You have to be like, oh, you know what? Hey, I'm super busy right now. I got to get running. I'll check back with you. Like, you got to cut that off, right? So the same, this is me talking about when you get stuck in that friend zone. Like, you got to cut it off, and you can even make it like, hey, I'm busy. I got to answer these other messages really quick. I'm super excited about helping all these people. Like, they don't know what you're doing. But when you make that sense of urgency and you cut them off, then they're going to want to get back into your feed, and eventually, sooner than later, if you do it that way, they're gonna jump the fence. So about the chats, so that's why I think you're one of the only ones left with the team chat, Allie. But everybody else is only in the big chat now. So it would help me if my team answers questions in our team chat, or more people answer questions. So everybody's going to be in the big chat. So I think that there probably will be more activity. And actually, because, okay, so let's talk about this team chat for a second. So I started this new team chat, and I actually, the real reason that I first started it was because now it's linked to our team page. So I'm working on our onboarding process, so I'm going to try and really simplify this, so when somebody new comes in, you can be like, click this button, you just joined your team chat. Click this button, you're now, so we're working on that. I'm actually going to link all of the group pages that they need to be in, so everything is going to be, I'm working on it, guys. I really am working a lot and very hard on all of these things. So I started that team chat for that purpose, and then I was like, okay, this is the perfect time, because our team chat, Onward and Upward, has, I don't even know how many hundred people, but there's not that many people working, right? There's not that many people, and so many people have it muted, and so many people are in there. And so I want all the people that want to be in there. So that's why I made posts about it, and everybody's been posting in their team chat that there's a new Onward chat. This is going to be just for people that want to be active and want to know what's going on. So there's the people that are joining are people that want to be there, okay? That's where all the good stuff is going to be. I'm going to post an Elite Legacy and then that chat, and that's it. So, so that is a good thing. I'm also doing that. So you guys, I think every one of you has already voted on the poll, right? In Elite Legacy. So same thing's happening in there. Like I'm cleaning out a lot of the faces that are in there that just, they don't want to be. They're not, they all know, you know, they don't have notifications on. Okay. At work. Oh, I hate that for you, Sam. Hate that. You just have to, you should be drinking more water so that you have to pee more. I'm just teasing. I love that. Actually, I was in a three-way chat with Allie. I'm gonna call her out, not call her out because this is total props to her. We were in a three-way chat, and the lady was kind of making us work. Like, it was almost like we were like trying to sell her, and we were both over it. And she's like, hey, I have a really busy day of appointments, so we're just gonna let you go, and what time works for you to check back? And I was like, hallelujah. Like, it was so good. I was like, dang, that's so good. I loved it so much. I loved it so much. Okay, so bonding with your personal team in a smaller way. So here's what I want to say about that. You guys, okay, so I learned this really quickly when I pulled away too soon from Amber's team and started my own team chat. I mean, obviously we're big now and we have our own team culture, and I actually feel like we have something really stinking special outside of everything else that we have going on, because we have a lot of really kind people. But I pulled away too soon, and what happens is I lost some of my credibility. So, and then I also took some of the credibility or the opportunity for my leaders to build their credibility in the bigger chat. So It's just another thing, right? So when you start a team chat, and I am not here to tell you need to shut down your team chat. This is total preference on everyone, but when too many people have too many team chats and they have too many places to check in, muting starts to happen. People start muting chats and they start participating, right? It gets to be too much. So, I mean, that's like, especially when you're bringing in a lot of new people and your team is growing right now. So those new people, you put them in your team chat and then the bigger team chat. And then, you know, obviously it's only 2 things as far as I understand, but it becomes a lot because then you're going to add them into 5 groups and you're going to, I mean, this is a lot of things. So what I'm trying to do is streamline, and I want to step back from it. So my idea or my thoughts are not step back, because I want to forever be a presence with everybody. I want everybody to know me. I want to know everyone, but I want this group to be the shining lights of the team page. I want this group to be the shining lights of the chat. I want to elevate all of you. And I think that to do that, to have one solid landing place, that's what I think would be best. Yeah, the sales chats the links to them are all in the Shop Mob. So if you go into Elite Dynasty Shop Mob, you can click on whatever sales chat you want, and it automatically adds you in. And that's not being that's a Shop Mob thing. So that won't be going away. I will never start. I tried this once way back in the day, starting legacy sales chats. No, not a bad idea. Bad idea. So that'll never happen. No. And I think sideline stuff is so important. So, which leads me to the next. And I know we didn't talk about building posts, and we're already over on time. But I do want to really quickly touch on one last thing, and that is, I just had a total brain fart. Oh, happy Daphne today. What did I want to tell you guys? Oh, the newbie group. I want to talk to you guys about that. So I wrote in the thing today, and a few of you commented back. So Kagan had originally brought that idea to me a long time ago, and then Kat had brought it to me in the chat, which I read to you guys last week, and said, hey, if there's ever a newbie group. And so that's what we talked about it last week. So I had heard about it originally from Kagan, and then had a team member that was interested in something like that. And I was like, brought it here. And we all thought it was a great idea. Well, I felt obligated to say to Kagan that you all were very interested in that, because it was initially her idea. And she was like, is this something you guys would be interested in doing together? So that's why I came to the chat today and said, how would we feel about taking our 90-day runners and her 90-day runners and doing this and having all of us be a part of creating that? If it's a yes, then we'll do a Zoom with this group and her group together, so we can kind of figure out what day one. Kagan is obviously like super skilled at Canva. So I mean, the graphics and everything will be on point. I think that that's a bonus to us, because that's not my skill set to make the most beautiful. So the group will be absolutely stunning if we do partner with them. And then each day we'll have a graphic, and then but we would all collectively as a group be creating. I think a couple different things could be really good about that. You guys creating relationships, sideline relationships, which I think are super duper important, even outside of the legacy. But also your new people coming in. This is why I think it's safe, because new people coming in are already signed by you. So there's no worry about like poaching or anybody like snagging your person, because they're already hooked to you, and so they're safe. Okay, so that to me, partnering is fine. They also are going to meet other people going through the same. So if we take 2 teams instead of 1, say we have our team and we only bring in 5 people or 10 people this month, but if their team brings in 5 or 10 people, it's nice to have a larger group of people going through the same things at one time. Mm-hmm. So that kind of was also very attractive to me, to be able to have more people that they can kind of, if they came in at the same time and they build a sideline relationship with somebody that's going through the exact same thing, and that person can help motivate them through the struggles, because we sometimes forget what it feels like to struggle in month 1 because we're in month 29. Okay, so as somebody, they have that person to kind of bounce off from all the way through forever until they go elite, whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? So I think that the more people we can put into a group like that, that's why I thought 2 groups was a good idea. So, but I am open to pushback. Like if somebody thinks that it's better to not partner, we can replicate too. we can have our own. So that's why I asked for all the feels, because I want to hear all the opinions, and this is not going to be a Daphne decision. This is like a group decision. Fair? Okay, so if we're on board, then tomorrow after our power hour, I believe Kagan and I were going to work on some graphics, and actually she'll share graphics either way, but we're going to work on graphics and really start rolling that, and then setting up the Zoom. And it might even be our next Monday's Zoom, so that we can get the rest of the graphics Tuesday, Wednesday, and have it launched before the end of the week next week, because this coming weekend is our recruiting event. I'm glad I just thought of that, because the middle weekend of the month is always recruiting event, and we haven't laid that out yet. So I need to make sure I get into the chat to fix that. So I think perfect timing if we can have that event up next week. If we bring anybody in from a recruiting event this weekend, boom, they can get placed right into that group. Yeah?
Sounds good.
Okay, I really hate that I just freaking talked the whole time again. That's really not what I want to do this week. I'm sorry.
We're learning, so you're fine.
Yes.
I mean, I want us all to learn from each other. I have a lot of learning to do. Guys, I haven't shared anything about what I've been doing the past month and a half. I know I'm in some groups with some of you, but I haven't. I mean, I've been plugged in and doing my trainings for those groups on the side, but I've been doing some other special training. And, like, I realized how much I had to learn. And, like, there's a whole new Daphne coming your way. So excited about it. So excited about it. So, I love you all. Actually, I'm going to stop the recording.